Welcome to the show.
About 15 seconds before we hit the start now button.
Yeah. So we were about to hit the start now button, and Zolt sent me a message like, "Oh, you know what? I'm actually down for the podcast today." So here he is.
Sounds about Zolt.
So, what have we all been playing this week? Shall I let Tef start? I feel like Tef's probably the only one that's been playing anything relatively new. Well, I say relatively. Well, relatively old, but more relevant than what we're going to talk about.
Well, I've been playing a game that's 20 years old for the most part today. What are you talking about?
Final Fantasy VII Remake, okay? It's more...
I played the demo of the remake. Wow. It's like 20 minutes long. And it's just Final Fantasy 15, but set in Midgar, basically, so...
Well, you said it was mixed with Final Fantasy 10, did you say? Or 11?
No, I said 12, because 12 and 15 have kind of similar kind of combat systems, but the reason I said that is because it's got... it's very action heavy, like 15 is, but it's got that thing that 12 had where you press a button and time stops and it opens like the traditional JRPG menu and you pick like your spells and your items from there. So time stops when you're picking your items and your abilities. So it's kind of
I think 15
halfway
had that
between
as well,
the two.
didn't it?
It did for items, but not for spells. Spells were
I think
like
they had a different mode, like you could switch it in the menu to like a more tactical mode.
Yeah, they did, yeah. But you know, that wasn't like the main combat system.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of the same actually in the remake of 7, where there's some sort of classic mode which isn't really classic at all. Really,
and then there's the more real-time combat that 15 had.
Yeah.
I know Zolt played a little bit of 15, so...
Yeah, I never got to play it too much though, sadly, to be fair. I just never ever really got into it, but I do intend on going back and playing it at some point. I've probably got like 3 or 4 hours deep into the game, I want to say. Oh no, actually a little bit longer. I want to say about 8 actually. I got past the demo area, and that's it. Like when you get on the boat to go across the, from that bay, I forgot what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's way...
That's very early in the game. Yeah, from a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, I really want to play the remake. Like, how's your experience been with the original? Because I know that you said this is the first time you've kind of gotten into it, Tef.
Yeah, because I've always tried to play it and it like bounced off it like every time.
Oh, did we lose Tef?
That's for like the SNES ones. I'm here. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello?
sorry, you like cut out then. I wasn't sure if that was just me.
Sorry.
There you go. Yeah.
No,
Go on,
it's just I kept like bouncing off it because you could start it up. And it's just like, it's so different. It's like Resi, but with horrible, blocky, dumbbell arm characters. And I was just like, this is just too weird. Can't get behind this. Just looks horrible. And my lighting's just completely changed. Just ignore that.
Yeah,
Let's change back again. Okay. And I don't know. Like this time, I think because I've been listening to a podcast where like 2 guys have basically been playing through it. It's like I've been listening to this podcast about these 2 guys who were just playing every Final Fantasy game, and it's basically like a let's play in podcast form. And listening to them play it made me just think I need to play it because it's like one of the biggest games ever, and it's even now like it's still considered one of like the biggest classics of all gaming. It's like I need to play it because I love Final Fantasy, but I haven't played the biggest, the most famous one, and like I've really gotten into it this time. I'm not even that far really. I'm still in Midgar. I'm right at the end actually. I think I'm about I've got about 20 minutes left of the Midgar section.
Are you in Shinra?
Yeah, I just got red. So I must be. I think I'm really close.
You're like really high up the tower then at that point.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So I think there's probably like 20 minutes left of the Midgar section. So I've nearly beat the remake, because the remake ends at that point, doesn't it?
Wait, I don't even know.
Actually, it's only in Midgar, so I think I assume the Shinra headquarters is the...
I know there's a bit after Shinra headquarters, like it's very tiny, the section after that, but I think they might expand on that in the remake. It would make a lot of sense if they did.
Yeah, I imagine they will, but I mean, it makes sense for Shinra headquarters to be the big final section too, because it's kind of built up as like a final dungeon. Sort of is, but yeah, not also it's got like weird mini games in there, and I need to talk about the puzzle with the libraries in the Shinra headquarters because it's stupid. It's so stupid.
I don't even remember this.
Do you remember this? Oh,
Describe it to me.
Strap in, lads. This is so stupid. So you get to a certain floor, and the key card that you've got won't go any higher. So you need to get another key card that's got better permissions to go further up the tower.
Okay, this
and the
is
floor
vaguely familiar.
And the floor that you're on is the one where the mayor is, and it's like just the mayor's office and a bunch of like libraries that hold, city records, so things like weapons development, city planning records, scientific research and stuff like that, all split into separate libraries. And you speak to the mayor, and he just kicks off because he's not really in control anymore. He's the city's run by like Shinra, the big conglomerate company. So he's just going, I'm just a glorified librarian now, and he goes, like, I'll give you a key card so that you can screw them up, but you need to pass my test first and guess my password. And then he goes, he basically says, you have to guess my password, and then he gives you a list of loads of 4-letter words and says, one of these is my password, guess which one. So you know what the objective is, but he doesn't tell you how to guess it. Like, he establishes that there's a puzzle, but doesn't tell you what the puzzle is. He just tells you what the end game of the puzzle is. It's just, so then you leave his office, and he's got like a secretary stood outside the office, and you speak to him, and the secretary goes, oh yeah, I'll give you some hints for that puzzle. They're not really hints though, they're the rules of the puzzle. Like, he basically tells you how the puzzle works as hints. But here's the kicker, there's 3 hints, each one 500 gil.
I don't remember this at all.
You have to pay him for him to tell you how to do the puzzle, and then the puzzle itself is so stupid because you have to go into each one of the 4 libraries, and in each of the libraries there'll be one book that doesn't fit. So like in the weapons research library, there'll be like one city planning document, and you need to find that one. And you look at that book, and then you look at the library catalog and number on the book. Which say if it's like 14, then then you take the 14th letter of the title of that book, and then you do that in all 4 of the libraries. Put them together,
It
you'll
sounds
have
like some
4
Dino Crisis puzzle.
It's so stupid. You've got
a question for Google.
Yeah, I did Google it. I didn't pay. I didn't give that dickhead money. I Googled it. I was like 1,500 gil. No, because it was like 1,500 gil in total. I had like 1,600. I was like, nah, not happening, mate. Sorry. So I Googled it, but it's so stupid. Like, it's the most obtuse puzzle. And even once you know what you're doing, you're like, this is just ridiculous. You've got to check the catalogue and numbers, and then get the letter that corresponds to the catalogue and number and put them together, and then you've just got 4 jumbled up letters. You still need to figure out what the word is from there, which thankfully is fairly easy, like, but still. I had like Knig, and I was like, what? But then one of the answers was king, so I was like, okay, I guess it's king. It's just,
okay. I mean,
I am finished ranting now. It's just I had to get that off the chest.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all. I don't know how I did it back in the day. I guess I had a pen and paper, like you did back in the old days.
Or you paid them the 1,500 gil.
One of the 2.
From, like, the local Asda.
I don't remember doing that at all, though. Like, I don't remember that entire section for some reason. That's just gone from my memory.
It's probably repressed.
I've repressed a lot of things in my time, I'll say that. But, yeah, so is that all you've been playing this week, or you got anything else?
I've been playing more Yakuza 6, but I'm not going to talk about that
Yeah,
because I spoke about Yakuza for about 45 minutes last time.
We can maybe save that to like fill time at the end, if we don't have enough. But, I mean, we can talk Valorant, but we'll talk about it later because you've had a lot more experience with that now, and you can probably give a good opinion on it.
Oh yeah, but well, we've been playing it a fair bit this week, haven't we? When our internet allows, that is, because it does like to screw up your internet a bit.
It does. I have issues with internet occasionally. But yeah, I mean, if that's all you've been playing, I mean, Zolt can then tell us about Classic WoW for the next 10 hours. So, what have you been playing this week, Zolt?
Have you had that new game, Classic WoW? Not quite 20 years old, like Final Fantasy, but when I'm 15. It's just all I've been playing, honestly. I'm so addicted to it. I'm kind of just happy that I'm like playing a MMORPG that I've enjoyed this much since the initial release of Arcade.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I know me and you played. I mean, you still obviously play Arcade, like your main game.
Oh yeah, I do.
Like back in the day, me and you like 14 to 18 hours a day grind non-stop, no AFK. the other days. But yeah,
Nothing
Classic
better to
Royale's
do.
been fantastic. I've been really enjoying it. I'm so glad that I finally done all the in-game content apart from Blackwing Lair, which I'm now attuned to. So we should be doing this week. I think it's Friday. We're raiding Blackwing Lair. Which, for anyone who doesn't know what World of Warcraft is just basically 40 people are going to go into a massive dungeon and work together to just overcome every mob in the place and hope for some good loot.
And then just beat the game at that point. Once you beat the
game, yeah, I've pretty much I've done all the in-game dungeons. I've tanked and DPS'd every single one of them. Raids, I'm not going to tank at raids. I mean, I've had to off tank some things, but that's not actually tanking. You just like pull like one mob away from the main tank. But yeah, I've also done like the AV grind, which is the PvP battlegrounds. Which, for anyone who doesn't know, to get Exalted, which is like the highest rep, your rep sort of goes up with each game that you play.
You have to AFK all day.
That's no. See, now the more you actually do, the more rep you'll get. So it's more worthwhile.
Oh, I mean just to get in the battleground.
Oh, just to get in the battleground? Yeah, just AFK for an hour, go to sleep. That's what you gotta do.
Go to work, come back.
Like, get the rep. Yeah, especially on Horde, like it's insta queues for the Alliance because you're all a gang of bitches. Come on, start queuing AV. It's all right. But yeah, other than that, honestly, I just haven't played any. I still need to play a lot of Valorant, which maybe I'll touch on at some point. I've just been really addicted to this game. Yeah, like straight up. Like I mean, the game is really good. I'm hyped about it still.
We're gonna talk a lot about Valorant. Listen, we got 2 news stories on Valorant, which we'll squeeze together along with Tef's impressions on them, because I've kind of gave my opinion on it, haven't I? Although I've been enjoying it a lot more recently. I've gotten pretty good at the game. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going for a 40 kill game next. 37 is my top kill game.
Easy peasy. I mean, you've got the same top, mine 37 also.
Yeah, I had a game right before that where I got 35, and the one after I got 37. I was like, I'm going for 40 next. But yeah.
You won't get 40 with me in the game, trust me.
Oh,
we'll have 20 each.
Yeah, it feels like you're smurfing in CS when you play Valorant. That's how I feel.
It's ridiculous. Like going from CS to Valorant, especially because I was global elite, is like I don't have any mouse room and I'm still ruining people's lives. It's insane, and I haven't played CS in I think it's about 4 months now, which is the longest break I've taken from CS.
Yeah,
it's nuts.
Just like riding a bike, though, isn't it? You know, second you get that mouse in your hand.
Oh yeah, same DPI, same sense, same in-game settings, absolutely everything. It's just muscle memory, comes right back. The only thing, no, to be fair, I've had to change the sensitivity by double. So,
oh yeah, well, your mouse room. Yeah.
Yeah, it's more than half. They used to have 2 feet of mouse room squared, it was huge. But now I have my open hand. That's about it.
Oof.
Yeah, it's a big suck.
It's I mean, I don't know. It's a very accessible game. Should we actually get on to the news then, if that's all we've been playing this week? Because I could talk about Arcade, but that's all I've really been doing. I've been in the public test server for that. I did a video on it, which I put out
Actually, if you want to talk about Arcade, go for it, because I'm interested about what's going on with this next expansion.
Oh, are you interested about the next expansion? Well, you should check out my latest video on the YouTube.
Best segue now, go on, you continue.
But no, I mean, I've played a little bit of it. The expansion it's interesting. It does, my one issue with it is it seems to right now, but the PTS is based on the legacy version of the game, so it might be different on chain, but it seems to gate the next tier of gear that they're bringing out called this Exalted Haram gear, which I'm not too happy about, and I've kind of complained about in the latest video, which I then tweeted at the Arcade team, and I will continue to rant and complain about it until it's changed, until I get the goddamn game that I want. Because that's my job now. I complain about Arcade all day on YouTube.
I done that but didn't make content out of it.
Listen, I got a whole video on it. It's all good. Listen, you should get into Arcade.
Angry replies.
You should just get into Arcade content. You did. You used to just tweet dead game at the
yeah, no, straight up, I don't care. They killed their game. That game, I had so much passion for it originally, and it was under Tryon, the worst goddamn company ever. Absolute dog shit. And then I remember, what was that I tweeted at them? It was something along they were
Credit Card Warriors or something.
It was something. Yeah, they were talking about more in-game purchases and stuff, and it was it was just direct. It's I don't know whether you've actually played Arcade at all, Tef, but the way the actual in-game shop works is you can just buy things that people really needed at the time. This is on Legacy. This is not now. I don't know what it's like now, to be fair, on Legacy. But bought these. They're called regrade charms, and you could just directly buy them with money, pretty much, and then you'd sell them so people can upgrade their gear. But because everyone done it, it was just funneling gold into the game, just funneling gold, and then the economy just went to shit. And if someone, I think the tweet that really pissed them off, I think it was said they were dual wheeling credit cards and using an ATM as a shield. And they didn't like that. They were like, "We've got devs' groceries to purchase, and people."
Yeah, they did say something.
I was like, "But you have killed a fantastic game, and you would make more money without that kind of thing because it'd have more respect." Especially if they focus a little bit more on naval. Oh, the naval combat in that game.
Yeah,
to this day,
I mean,
it's fantastic.
Unchained has changed that though. At least the whole system's changed since then.
Unchanged.
Actually. But yeah, it's a completely different game to what it used to be when Zolt was tweeting at them.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's not the same anymore.
I don't know. The Garden I still have it. I have issues with them like gating gear. Like they need to change that. I've suggested that you're able to.
Are they gating gear?
Yeah. So in the latest expansion, the next tier is called Exalted Haram, and you can only get the scrolls for it in the Garden.
Oh my God, that's so bullshit.
Yeah, that's what I'm complaining about.
It's a buy-to-play game.
Yeah.
Buy-to-play, by the way.
Like, it'd be okay if, you know, the game revolved around expansions, kind of like other MMOs do, where, you know, the main content of the game or end game is always like the expansion. In WoW, you're always in the new expansion area. That's where everything takes place. The PvP is all around the expansion. In Arcade, though, you go in. This is like a side area. You go in, you do all your dailies and, you know, the new raid and stuff in there. And then you come back out into the main world where everyone else who doesn't have the expansion is. And you could just destroy them. That's the issue that I have with it. Like
that sounds like that should be a content update and not an expansion, doesn't it? It's just a new area, like.
So it's quite a big new area, and there's a lot to it. And originally it was supposed to be just a content update, but a really big one. But because the player base is so small for Unchained, and they're not recouping the money that, you know, that they want to. Yeah, they've had to. So for the Unchained version of it, they've had to say, okay, this area is a expansion or a paid DLC, and for the Legacy version, you can just go on in for free. So Legacy players are fine with it, but obviously Unchained players feel like they've been screwed over. I do see it as like, if they didn't get gear, it would be more like Guild Wars 2 and the way they do their paid DLCs.
Yeah. Well, that's it, because it's the exact same model, isn't it? The difference being that Guild Wars 2 doesn't add new new gear tiers with every expansion. Like they've capped out the gear now, so you just get like different skins now, because no one wants that, do they? Really, no one wants to have to buy it just to be competitive. Basically, that always feels. You always feel like you've been cheated a little bit, don't you? When you have to pay something just to pay like extra when you've already paid just to stay relevant.
Arcade has always been a very competitive game as well. It's a very open PvP. It's like an open world PvP game. That's what it's all about. It's all about world bosses and killing people and taking the packs and stuff like that. That's what was like a big driving for a lot of people.
Honestly.
Yeah. Though it also appeals to casual players very well as well, I'd say.
Oh yeah, because of all like the garden stuff, and I mean we had plenty of casual players in our guild, and we had like the most phenomenal player zone ever. Like it was insane. We owned so much land between me, Zan, and just one of the girls that was in our guild, and she was insanely into cosmetics, and she'd done like a lot of work for our area, like her and her friend.
They shared it together.
Two of them.
You know, the one you always confuse for Eleanor.
Yeah, all the time.
You know, all the time.
Name
not just
I've now managed to get.
How did you, Elika? Okay, you know it's fine.
That's it. There we go. Yeah, it was close enough.
I mean, Eleanor didn't think so.
No. Eleanor was pissed. I mean, I actually do think. I mean, from what I remember of Unchained, I don't know what the player base is now in in the chats, but I actually think they probably have sold more of this expansion if it wasn't gear. I feel like people are purposely not gonna pay for it just despite the fact that there's gear locked behind it.
I think there'll be I think that'll be the minority actually. I think a lot of people.
That's wishful thinking.
Oh really?
I think a lot of the majority of the player base are gonna they are like hardcore. You know, I want to be competitive. You have a lot of people you get the people who buy multiple accounts just to be like the best of the game. So you're gonna get a lot of those people, and it's unfortunate, but I'm hoping my endless complaining and hopefully some other people complaining will get through to them. Or it'll be different on launch because, again, it's the public test server, so everything is subject to change, much like this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I do miss the old days of it. I think I just think it was messed up from the get-go with Unchained because the amount of bugs, it just screwed everything. But out of curiosity, not that I'm going to come back to the game, possibly, the new tier of gear that you are talking about, does that completely replace the old gear or not?
So it's just like an upgrade.
So it's like a fresh start for gear.
It's like It's just like Scrolls with the Haram gear, so you'd upgrade to it. So it's legit.
So you go from your gear to that gear. Oh, okay, yeah. I'm with you.
And they've changed it a little bit, so this new tier of gear has this new enchant system where you can enchant the gear to have, I think it's like a different property or an extra property. So do you know the way weapons have like crushing damage, slashing damage and that stuff, and piercing?
Yeah.
I think you can change the property of your weapon or switch it around. And I think you might be able to do the same with armor.
I suppose that just makes it so you can choose what you look like a little bit more. Honestly, I'm kind of fine with that because that kind of reminds me of like enchants, for example, for WoW.
Yeah.
Because there's there's different enchants that do different things, and they're better for certain classes. Whereas like some people might want to. I mean, I suppose it just helps like the cosmetic look because some people want to rock. I don't know, maybe 2 flipping axes, but yeah.
It also ties into the new mobs.
Property.
So the new mobs in the garden also have 2 buffs called attack boost and defense boost, and the attack boost is like, just depending on the buff, they'll do more damage to people wearing plate and like some additional to someone in cloth, and that'll be switch around for like the 3 different ones. So there's always one that's not going to affect a certain armor type, and then for the defense boost, it's like they don't take as much damage from a certain type of weapon. So I think it's tied into
so
that.
Essentially, you don't need to dual wield. You need a spare set of dual wielding to get through the mobs.
Well, if you solo, I think it's very much intended for it's very much intended for people to be in parties.
When have me and you ever soloed anything in that game?
I'm
sorry, grouped up for anything.
We got by duo. You can duo in there,
that's
honestly.
all we needed.
Because I tried it in a full set of Mythic Aeronor gear. And I couldn't kill one of the mobs, but I wasn't gemmed out. That was the one thing. So I probably could have killed one of the weaker mobs on my own in full Mythic, but it's tough. It is tough in there. But yeah, should we move on from Arcade? Because otherwise we're going to go on for this forever. Because I could talk about Arcade all day.
You were like, I won't discuss Arcade.
Zolt set me off. Okay, he was like, listen, I'm actually quite interested in Arcade. I'm like, well.
Yeah, to be fair, it is because I can also talk about it, but mine's more from a nostalgic point of view, not from future content point of view, because I just couldn't care less anymore, sadly.
Yeah.
It's all about that nostalgic MMO vibes, as the cool kids say.
Yeah, we do like our MMOs here, for the most part. But yeah, shall we get into the news then? Because we got a lot of news this week. We might not even get to topics this week, honestly, because there is so much news to go over, and I think we're going to be talking about this for quite a while, because I know me and Tef are going to have a lot of opinions on the stuff. I'm sure Zolt.
Oh, you know me. Very opinionated.
We're very opinionated here on the podcast.
Oh, yes.
So, we'll start with Valorant, I guess. You know, this is the Valorant cast after all.
Yes. Of course.
So, in the beta, 10,000 people were banned. I mean,
good.
For cheating, for hacking, and obviously a lot of these weren't even caught by the anti-cheats. They were like caught afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sick.
Which, you know, the anti-cheats
installing Chinese spyware for nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, that just permanently runs. Yeah.
It's
Didn't
really
a lot
irritating.
of people also get banned for buying accounts as well? Like they would really they
I didn't
clamp
know
down
that.
on that. Oh
That
yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
surprise
They
me
made a
'cause-
post. They made a
Yeah.
post about it. Like they were like, just don't buy an account because we will find you and we will ban you. Like all the posts on Instagram
will
stuff was
find you.
so memey. Because it was a post about those memes about the memes about people getting banned, and then like it was like in brackets get wrecked nerds or something like that.
But yeah, I mean, it's weird that it doesn't surprise me that people are buying accounts, but it was also weird because, I mean, you could get a key. You just had to like sit around and wait. But I think some people just obviously didn't want to wait to get a key. They wanted to just dive right in.
You got a key without watching streams?
Yeah, I wasn't even watching the stream and I just got an email being like, "You got a key," and I was like, "Oh, okay."
I was working and my phone just went. I was like, "What? Oh, sick."
I've got the beta tester nameplate, you know, and
Yeah, I don't know how you did
I
that.
went back through all my emails and everything, and I can't find a key, so I don't know. But I've got the nameplate for it, so maybe I did get one. I just don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it could also be people that were cheating, that were using, were buying other accounts as well, so they could cheat. Because people do that. They used to do that in CS. Back when.
Oh yeah, I mean, you don't need to anymore because CS
Yeah.
decided to go free to play, so you just don't need to do it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it is gonna be a Dota and League situation with CS and Valorant, and I've been saying this for a while.
It will, but it shouldn't be because it's it's the same.
I know
with
you're gonna
League
say
and Dota,
Valorant's a
League
lot
and Dota.
easier to play. I know that's your like.
Yeah and no.
It's a lot more accessible.
I think we can probably get into the map. Yeah, I think we can get into the maps a bit more because that is what differs the games. The actual map design is what differs the games completely for me personally. But I still think, as you said, it's like a League and Dota thing. League and Dota are completely different games. The way people think there's like actual like rivalry between them just baffles me because they're so goddamn different. They just fall under the same genre.
It's the same genre.
It's literally. Yeah, that's it. But that's what all it really comes down to.
They're also big
is
esports.
that they're in the same genre.
I think that's it. They're big esports,
they're very big in esports.
And they're the same genre, and that's gonna be the same with Valorant and CS because I know Riot are gonna push this as an esport.
Good. I hope so. Honestly, it looks insane. I'm really looking forward to the esports from it. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I still watch CS.
I think it'll look clean
I'm
because
not too
CS is probably one of the cleanest esports to watch, isn't it? Everyone knows what's going on in CS when you watch it.
Yeah, that's why I've always said that CS:GO is such an important game for esports because if nobody from the outside understands what esports is, I mean it's a bit biased for me saying it because I put like 2,600 hours into the game or whatever. But if someone's like, "What's esports?" and they need some form of demonstration, I'll show them CS:GO because what is it? It's 5 people fighting each other. There's a bomb, you plant it or defuse it. That's like in a nutshell what it is. So if someone runs onto a site, kills 3 people, that was a good play.
Yeah.
You know what's happened. It's similar with Valorant, apart from there's obviously abilities and stuff.
I think Valorant actually looks cleaner though, and I think Valorant has more potential to become like a mainstream, actually go off to like.
I'd like to touch on that as well.
Because I think with CS, it's like, how accepted would it be for people outside of gaming to, watch a tournament, a guy capping 5 people in the head with a Desert Eagle?
Yeah.
Or and they're also called counter-terrorists and terrorists, which is probably...
You can't mistake them.
Yeah. But I feel just having terrorism involved is like, people are gonna jump on that, aren't they?
Yeah. I think one thing that's gonna make Valorant really pop off is because I've said it for a long time, but Riot's events are second to none. They are the best events. The money they put into their League of Legends tournaments is phenomenal. They're insane to watch. You even get a sense of what's going on, the sense of that, the energy in the crowd by just sitting at home and watching it. If they do something like that with Valorant, it's gonna push Valorant even further because professional players.
Oh, did we lose Zolt? Oh, it's fine. We're good.
Oh, did you hear me?
I
was just said because professional players will want to play in that kind of environment.
Yeah, I think we could talk. I feel like we weren't really gonna. We could get into esports more in a topic, but I guess we could talk about it now, honestly, because I enjoy talking about esports. It's interesting to see where it's actually gonna go, because it's weird how FPSs seem to be, or shooters in general seem to be at the forefront. Because back in the day, it was like StarCraft 2. That was like, I thought StarCraft 2 was easy to watch, but that, I guess I had understanding of the game that people didn't. In my opinion, it was blue and red team, blue and red army. One army kills the other army's base. That's how I saw it. And I thought it was easy to spectate.
But then you get like 300 actions per minute, and it's like, no, I'm confused now.
Yeah,
I think anything top down as well. There's a lot more happening on the screen at any given point compared to anything that's first person. Plus, it's much easier to see a good play or just good skill when it's someone, you know, doing some sort of 360 no scope and popping someone instead of whatever happens on the screen in League of Legends or StarCraft, where it's all top down and there's going to be a lot happening in different parts of the screen all at once.
So I think top downs are easy to understand because it's just like one team versus the other team. But then again, you do get the people that are outside of gaming or like outside of those games specifically, and maybe they just play something like an FPS, and they don't know what's going on. There's, you know, especially in like a team fight in like League of Legends or something. There's a lot of abilities going off. There's just a lot of colors, which, I mean, they toned down. It used to be a lot more colorful back in the day, didn't it?
Yeah. That's what I was actually going to say as well. I was going to say, from an outside point of view, when it comes like from, you know, people from outside the game and not understanding to watch games that are top down. I remember before I played League of Legends, because obviously we were in sixth form together. Yeah. And I never played League of Legends at that point, like first year. And I remember you guys trying to get me into it, and I was watching it, and I was like, "What the actual fuck's going on?" I still remember that now. Like, it's a top down game to an extent. I think a lot harder to understand than they are with like an FPS.
Yeah, I think I've just never been in that situation myself, but I could definitely understand. Like, I think Overwatch, even, like Overwatch, Blizzard pushed that as an esport, but I don't think it would work very well as an esport. I don't think it did. I mean, it still is. Like, they still push it, but it's not. It is very colorful. There's a lot going on in it as well. It's the kind of the same situation with, you know, something like League. There's a lot of colors, there's a lot of different abilities and stuff going on, and it's not as clean as something like Valorant or CS in that regard, so you can't really tell exactly what's going on. And for stuff like that, you need really good commentary to help move that along.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's another thing that obviously pushes esports a lot. Honestly, I think they're underrated commentators, to be honest.
Like I'd love to commentate over like any sport at some point. It'd be a lot of fun to do. I don't know what I'd be able to. I mean, maybe Valorant. I'd maybe be able to talk over a Valorant game because it's kind of new and easy. But I'd love to do that at some point. It'd just be really fun and interesting, I think. I don't know how good it'd do, but hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, shall we keep going down? We could talk more. We could do a whole section on esports, I think, honestly. But shall we just move on along with the news?
Or just Valorant.
Oh, just Valorant in general.
Valorant for another couple of hours. Easy peasy.
I mean, talking more about Valorant, Riot are actually looking at porting it over to console, which shouldn't surprise anyone, I don't think. It's I don't know how well it would play.
Fantastic idea.
I don't know how well it would play on console. It's obviously not going to be as competitive. PC is going to be where
it'll be a different game.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. But it will be a different game. It'll be treated differently. It'll be, I think, way more laid back, way more casual, but that's fine. Yeah. I think console players will treat it more like Team Fortress or Overwatch, which is on the surface, that's what it is, and I think that's how console players will see it. You know, it gets the reputation on PC is, oh, it's a Counter-Strike clone, but if you put it on a console gamers are going to go, oh, it's an Overwatch clone, and I think it makes sense. It'll work, and I knew this was happening. The second
Counter-Strike was on console.
Yeah, I thought it was. I said it last week.
Let's not talk about it now, please.
It didn't do well, did it?
Because I think console.
I don't think they updated it after it initially launched, did they?
Nope.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I've tried it on controller.
Yeah, it's never gonna feel the same on a controller, but I think the thing with Valorant is it's a lot more accessible. It has those hero abilities, and I think it's made in a way where it will feel a lot smoother on console. Because I even think running and gunning in Valorant is a little better than in CS:GO. Like you can still hit some shots with that.
Yeah, I've looked at some patch notes in the past, and they actually improved the first bullet when running. On like some guns, because some were a lot. Yeah, me and Ziff sat down and looked through them, and they didn't really make sense. So maybe we misread them. But I think it was the Vandal got a nerf, because the first bullet while I was running was like just stupidly accurate. I think the Phantoms got improved. which I disagree with. No bullet while running should be accurate, but that's because I play CS.
Yeah. And stuff to step is still important in Counter Strike and still important in Valorant, but I don't think it's as important.
Counter Strike.
I think I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it does on console. I think it'll do a lot better than CS did. I can say that much.
Oh, without question. I actually think it's a very smart move from Riot, honestly. Yeah. I mean, have they put anything on console? They haven't, have they? This will be the first thing.
Don't think so.
I know they did League on mobile, didn't they?
League, no.
I'm pretty sure they did. I'm pretty sure they released a mobile version of League. I could be wrong. It might be a thing they're working on.
There's a game that's like League. I know there's a game that's like League. I've actually got it. I'll tell you what it's called now. Last night.
Hold on. I'm sure they're working on one. I'm pulling up Chrome now just so I can have a little bit of research.
Okay, yeah, I'm on the Wikipedia now. They don't have anything on console, I can tell you that. They've
got Runeterra.
Oh yeah. So League of Legends Wild Rift.
Yeah.
Wild Rift. It's called. It's upcoming. They're still working on it actually. So this has been something they've been working on for a while. So they do plan to bring that over. Did they bring Team Fight Tactics to mobile?
TFT's on mobile now. Yes, it is.
Okay, yeah. So I think they're going to move a lot of stuff over to mobile. They are also the majority owned by Tencent, right? Am I correct in that?
Yeah.
So it makes sense because China, the mobile market's massive in China. And obviously everyone wants a piece of that. What were you saying?
Have you not got phones?
I don't like playing games on phones.
I don't.
I can't stand it.
Not for me.
Am I right in thinking that this Wild Rift then, it's literally just League of Legends, but like slightly tuned in order to work on consoles, I guess is the idea?
Yeah, I mean,
why is that taking them so long to make then? But yeah, it just seems to be more or less the same.
I guess it's just like balancing it around mobile.
Top down.
Yeah. It's just like
3D isometric perspective, it says.
From what I understand, I'm looking at it right now and it looks exactly like League, except, with a mobile interface. Obviously, they've probably changed the game around a little bit. They might have balanced it more around mobile in general.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's just a casual version, isn't it? Just tuned for like more casual people, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the mobile market's massive, and the more people you can reach with a game, the better. Like, they're going to make a lot of money off Wild Rift. Guarantee that.
That's why I think it's a good idea to go to console with Valorant, because let's be honest, it's not going to be free if it goes to console. I can't see it being actually no, it probably is online because it is free on PC after all, and they don't plan on putting it behind any payment transaction. I do think that they need to put a lot more skins into the game, because that's another way to grow player base. Again, it probably is coming across as biased because of CS, but the vast majority of CSGO players have done trading, some form of gambling, or just trading with friends, or ways to earn skins in game. Like if you're like the ones in the beta of the game, it was like £50 for like 4 skins. Like that's insanely dear. Like if they put some form of skins into the game, I think that'll also bring a lot of people over. Like the player base will blow up. I think they're silly not to do it. Honestly, I really do.
I'm surprised Valorant doesn't have any like hero skins. Like I get that it's an FPS, but I mean, people definitely still care about that, even if they can't see their own character all the time.
Yeah. No, they definitely. I mean, personally, I would as well. Like, that's another thing that I'd like to speak about as well with that kind of thing, because I hated skins in CS:GO. I think it's retarded, but the reason for that is because every single map in CS:GO was designed to these 2 colors of terrorists and counter-terrorists. They added skins in, and then you could just blend into trees. Like you couldn't do that before, so it gave people like an edge in competitive gameplay. But with Valorant, you have like a big red marker around them, and with it being a very colourful environment anyway, I don't think skins would have a negative impact in any way, shape, or form. So I think that'd be a really good thing for them to implement as well.
I don't know. I don't think I like the sound of it, just because if the skin's different enough, it might cause issues where with visibility, where you just don't know what agent you're looking at unless you know all the skins. Because let's be real, if they start skinning the agents, then eventually there'll be about 40 for each agent, and it's gonna like, I don't know. Just seems like for a competitive game, seems like a weird move.
Yeah, I think
to an extent, I do agree. However, because there's not that many agents, if they started early, people would get used to it really fast. As long as they didn't change, like raise, like if a rocket launcher turns into a fucking hand cannon, then that's stupid because you need to be able to differentiate them. I understand what you're saying. Like if Jet all of a sudden is not using kunais and she's using actual guns, then it's like that will be very confusing. I completely understand what you're saying.
It's like when I played League again.
But if they look the same, they'll be fine.
Yeah, so it's like when I jumped into League again, and then I was like, oh, who's this champion? I was like, it's Lux, and I'm like, what do you mean? Looks like someone else. Stuff like that, where I just didn't.
Looks like someone else.
I just didn't realize half the champions were. I was like, and I thought I was like fighting someone else, and I was like, oh no, this person's. I'm just like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, this is this champion. Stuff like that gets really confusing later on. But I don't like the difference between League and Valorant is obviously Valorant is never going to have that big of a pool of heroes. Because that's kind of what MOBAs League and died by.
Like 160 now or something.
Yeah, League's got like 160, so...
Have they established what their plan is for agents? Because I don't know whether to expect, loads more to be coming down the line or not.
Oh, they're going to bring more, 100%. They've brought one out now.
Yeah,
they will, without question, bring them. Yeah. They won't have too many, though, I don't think. I think they'll actually have probably around the same amount as Overwatch did.
Yeah, I'd say look at Overwatch.
In like a years to come.
So, I mean, the new hero is actually really cool. I think you'd really like her, Zolt. She's like...
I went into a practice room with her. Yeah, I went into a practice room with her. I played the practice room last night for like 10 minutes, just out of sheer curiosity on what she does, and she's actually kind of fun.
She's dumb. She's just that strong. Like, she can go invisible as well.
Yeah, I mean, the invisibility is really strong, but like, I'm just a massive Jet nerd. I just love her so much. I
really like Jet as well, so we're gonna have to fight over that. I'm not gonna lie. That's where I was getting my 35 kill games and 37 kill games on.
Yep, all of mine have been hurt. Every one of them.
It was just like so when me and Tef played, Tef was playing what's his name? Brimstone.
I was just too lazy to learn anyone else.
No, he's strong. He's really good in competitive play. Really fucking good.
That's it. I clocked that he was good at support. I was like, I'm going to stick with him because I was too lazy to learn anyone else.
So our plan was we were going, like, I was just rushing up mid as Jet, and he'd drop a smoke on the mid, and then I'd jump over the wall and just kill them all every time.
I'd drop a smoke and the double fire buff as well, and then you just running guns blazing and take them all out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, Zif's played them a couple of times, and obviously I played Jet, so we've done that exact thing. We all need to play it at some point, so that'd be a fun little game night.
I could never get you around, because you're always playing Classic. You're just playing Classic while
I'm just addicted to it. I'm playing it now.
Oh yeah, we forgot to mention that for the folks at home. He's been grinding the whole time on WoW while we've been doing this.
I'm just gold farming in Scarlet Monastery as a warrior at the moment, so I'm just running through them all.
Fair enough. But yeah, we're coming up to the hour mark, by the way, guys, and we've only just sort of scraped the news with Valorant.
Part 1, Part 2 of the stream, boys. Let's go.
Esports.
Shall we? I was going to say, should we take the break now, or shall we quickly talk about? I'm trying to think what we could talk. I mean, we could talk about Metro. Exodus.
Metro is the next
point. I know
point.
nothing, so yes, do that.
So, I mean, cut out a bit, which... Do you want to... I mean, I could explain what it is for the kids at home and Zolt.
Yeah, we can go over this one briefly anyway, because...
We've spoken about this before, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we have spoken about it before, and the game that it's about is Zif's game, and he's not here, so...
Yeah, which is unfortunate, because Zif, bowed out again this week, unfortunately. He'll be here next week, hopefully. We'll see. Maybe we'll have all 4 of us next week. Wouldn't that be a shock?
Oh boy.
Oh. But yeah,
One push luck 2 weeks in a row with me.
So, Denovo, for anyone that doesn't know, it's basically a form of anti-piracy. It forces like an online connection and stuff along that lines. But the big issue people have with Denovo, other than that, is it has an impact on the performance of the game.
Big old lag spikes.
Yeah. And a lot of people have been very up in arms over whenever it's been put in a game, which honestly I don't think it doesn't stop people pirating the game anyway. If people want to pirate it, they find a way. People get around.
The stupidest thing though, hang on. The worst part though is if you pirate a Denuvo game, it usually runs better because you won't get those those FPS drops when it phones home. So
we don't condone pirating, guys. We don't condone it.
No, we don't. We don't. But that's
games
just
run better
encouraging more
you
piracy.
want it,
Surely,
be a smart idea.
it's just stupid. It's getting to the point where people are like buying the game, not opening the official version, and then just pirating a cracked version because it runs better. It's just stupid. It not only is it punishing the people who have bought it properly, but it's actually like just encouraging pirates to pirate things more.
Yeah, I was looking at FPS tests for several games with Denuvo on and off, and it's like they deny it. Publishers and Denuvo, they deny that it has any effect on performance at all, but it's very clear. If you turn it off, if you remove Denuvo completely, the game runs so much smoother, and it doesn't help anti-piracy in any way, frankly. I think if anything, it encourages it. Look, because like you said, game performs better, and then people also get up in arms about it, and maybe want to boycott the game, which I don't think boycott never really works, but
no,
people
it's actually
like
a good
to be up in
PR
arms.
move. I discussed this, I think, in the first episode about how it's actually a really good PR move.
You were talking about
when you
the tinfoil hat on. I remember us talking about that. Have you got your
You keep saying this is tinfoil hat. You keep saying this is a tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It's not. It's just business sense. Put it in so that no one can pirate your game for the first 2 weeks.
Next podcast.
It just makes it's perfect business sense. It's logical.
Put
it in so people can't pirate because Denuvo does work for like a couple of weeks usually before they manage to crack it, and that's all you need because most of your sales are in the first few weeks, and then you can remove it because you don't need it anymore, and you get free publicity for it. It's great, and your game runs better. It's a win-win situation, except it's not a win-win because the consumer gets fucked over.
Yeah, which is why we will continue to complain about it on this podcast every week.
Every week, I've hit myself with wire,
and then we'll move over to talking about Denuvo, and then. I don't know, what else can we complain about every week? Arcade, I'll keep complaining about that. You'll never stop me.
Away the games. I've got to find a way to segue this into away the game because I've not spoken about.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, I do have a way of bringing up away the games later. So,
but yeah,
look out for that.
Boycotting I feel like it never works. I feel like, you're always gonna have it's the minority that boycotts half the time. I'm trying to think of an example. Star Wars Battlefront. EA, Star Wars Battlefront, I should say. We remember that came out, that was like a mess of a game. Everyone was complaining about it. There were boycotts over it. Still sold like 12 million, something like that. And it never works, honestly. I think definitely if you want to try and stop stuff like this, vote with your wallet, but also I feel like the best thing you can do is give them as much bad PR as possible. Get on Twitter, start ranting about it.
Make a YouTube channel dedicated to patch notes and rant about them.
Yeah, do that, guys. I don't know who would ever do that. That is a really good idea. I should do that at some point.
And then call it your Twitch highlights channel, even though all you do is rant about a game that you don't even cover on your Twitch channel.
And then once you hit 100 subscribers, change it to your actual name.
It's your main channel.
Alright, so...
Like a Reddit shit post of a channel, and then it's just like, boom, main channel.
Alright, we're about at the hour mark now anyway. If we want to go take a quick 10-minute break to, get a cup of tea, whatever you want to do, go to the bathroom, in case,
Quick 10 minutes
I imagine most of you won't need to go to the bathroom, considering how this podcast started, but...
I am Aston.
Alright, so we'll be back on in 10 minutes or so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back.
I'm not moving.
And we're back. Alright, so now that we're back from the break, we've got a cup of tea. Zolt is he's ready to go down there. Zolt, you come on, you froze. But yeah, so I think what we want to talk about now is Konami setting up a third-party publisher in the West, which their own division, which it's an interesting one to talk about because there's been rumors of another Silent Hill, and
someone good to make Silent Hill 5, please.
Yeah, but then there's also it is Konami, so I feel like they've actually already brought out the game they published one already. I don't know what the dev was for it. It was called like Skeleton something, but it was like an indie 2D action platform. Skeletak. It looked very I don't know. It didn't look great. I'll be honest. It looked like a very cheap looking game. Like the initial artwork, I was like, oh, this looked good, and then I actually looked at the gameplay and it looks, I don't know. I mean, they're publishing indie devs, that's doing some good, but then it's also Konami, so I'm obviously very cautious of it.
I mean, if they get some indie devs to work on their games, especially the 2D ones, there might be, something good might come of that. Like, cause Sega's been doing that. Sega's gotten a lot of smaller companies to work on their IPs, and we got Sonic Mania out of that, and actually Streets of Rage 4 recently, which was fantastic, better than the original Streets of Rage games, and that was by a small company. And I think it's a win-win because it's cheap for them, and it's nice for us because we'll get to play IPs that we otherwise just probably wouldn't see again. Because we might get a Castlevania out of this. You could hire one of the Castlevania. So
yeah, except for a moment, it's on. Oh, have we actually lost? No, you just talked about Castlevania and stuff. Yeah, you're back. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was just saying, get one of the millions of Metroidvania studios. All those indie Metroidvania studios. Get one of them to make a Castlevania game.
And my issue with it is it's Konami, so I think Konami are going to cheap out on a lot of what they do, and I also think, like, how are they going to treat these developers that they're publishing games for? Like, if they actually, kind of lord over them with an iron fist. Because, I mean, we know how their relationships have went with past developers. We could talk about how the whole thing went down with Kojima and everything like that. And then they had the whole ordeal with Silent Hill on top of that, which was, I guess, it was kind of mostly revolving around Kojima, but they've not been very good to their IPs or their developers. So, I don't know. I'm a little worried.
They made Pro Evolution. That's been around for a while.
Oh boy.
That's the only AAA game they still make. I think we looked this up recently.
And it 2021 as well.
Who cares? Who's playing Pro Evo?
I'll never forget playing it for the first time, because back in the day I did play FIFA and stuff. And I remember obviously where we're from is called Merseyside. And I remember the teams were not called
Merseyside Red and Merseyside Blue, yeah.
Blue!
I didn't know that.
And like so London Red and London Blue. Because he never had the what was it, like the copyright to do it, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I don't know. It must sell quite a bit, because Konami wouldn't be publishing it still if it didn't. I think sports games in general tend to be cash cows. They tend to milk them.
It's just funny though, because it's got to be at least like 10 years since I've heard anyone seriously say, "Oh yeah, I've been playing Pro Evolution Soccer."
Have you been playing that new PES game?
Oh, PES.
I feel like a lot of that was because it was the normies in school that we used to go to school with. We talked about picking it up, but I don't know if the kids still play. Do the kids play the PES and the FIFAs, or are they all off on Fortnite?
They still play FIFA, but FIFA's just been dog shit. The last good FIFA was the one that they released Ultimate Team for. That was the last one.
Wasn't that like 2012?
Like 2014. No.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, no, it was. It was around 12. No, you're right. It was around 12. And that was, to be fair, Ultimate Team was a lot of fun at the time. But then it's like, what you pay for every year.
Don't they make money off Ultimate Team as well? Isn't there like microtransactions?
Yeah, you can buy packs.
Yeah, so...
It's like a trading card system where it's like... It's designed
like
to it's designed basically. to like just take as much money as they can from you, and then there's like you don't just get like one version of a player. I believe there's like a gold version of the player that you can get as well.
So you have like Team of the Year, Team of the Week, Team of the Season, and Legends, and there's just like different stats. It's like, oh, this card's black, so therefore plus 10 on every stat.
Okay. But yeah, I don't like that business model at all. It's like, obviously a lot of people got very into it. I think there was a big scene around it on YouTube at the time, if I recall. A lot of people were super.
It was absolutely massive.
People love pack openings of any kind, loot box openings, stuff like that.
I like it.
It's something
I fall into that category.
I wasn't about, but
You're a shill.
Yes. Yes.
But yeah, a lot of people. I don't know. I don't get it. It's I know it's not normie stuff. I don't spend money on. I won't buy your microtransactions. Okay, I very rarely do. I never bought a single skin in League back in the day.
You couldn't afford to anyway.
I know.
You're not the target audience. That's the thing. You're not a target audience. It's the problem is the second I think. Yeah, I don't know much about like your personal life, Zolt, but maybe you'll relate to this. I know Ziff probably could. When you're in your 20s and you hit a point when you've finally got disposable income, you do go a little bit mad at first because you're just like, oh my god, I can actually buy all the things instead of like begging your parents for it or saving up for ages.
That's it. Well, like I've been lucky enough with work, like especially like before this quarantine stuff, where I've been able to like save money and stuff. So I've got a bit of disposable income. So it's like when I can buy stuff, I will buy stuff. But now that I've also done that and splurged a little bit, I'm like a little bit more resilient to it. Like something's got to be like insane for me to be like, right, listen, that belongs to me. And here's like 30 quid, like just your bam, done.
Yeah.
I'm quite reluctant when things like I really wanted skins for Valorant really badly, but why would I pool 50 quid into 4 skins that will soon be like looked at as like, oh, everyone's got those, blah blah blah, like these ones, like because they're gonna bring out new ones and stuff.
But then in like 5 years' time, you'll be like, I had the first skins.
I had that first, yeah, I know what you mean by that, and I kind of also fall into that sometimes. But I mean, I don't know. It depends on what the cosmetic actually is, like what the microtransaction is. If it's a direct game boost and like enhancement, I probably don't play the game in the first place because I hate cash shops so much.
Yeah, pay-to-win stuff
they ruin games, and I also don't agree with cosmetics in some games like cash shops, like so like for example like arcades and stuff. I don't know why the cosmetics in well, I do obviously because they want to make money. But if you can buy a skin that looks better than something from hard work in the game, that's bullshit from the devs. Just my opinion.
I definitely agree. I feel like it can be cosmetic stuff can be a form of progression. It can feel it can be a reward in a sense, and I think relegating that to a cash shop can take away an element from the game. And I feel like you could definitely, if you can definitely still do a cash shop, and I think games, MMOs especially, definitely need marketplaces. They need this kind of stuff to stay 100%. Afloat, especially when you're a small player base like Arcade. WoW, not so much because WoW has a sub and expansions.
WoW doesn't need it.
Yeah, but they do like to make some extra, anyway. Extra dollar. They
It's very frowned upon in WoW though to have like a cash shop mount. If you have a cash shop mount, you're gonna get slated in game. People are gonna tear you a new one.
So there was actually, I think it was Asmongold started the thing where people would slash spit on people with store mounts.
Yeah. Yep. If you had a store mount, you were getting crucified. Like it was bad.
Oh, good.
Bad. And I agree, because why do cash shop mounts look better than a 0.1% chance drop chance from a mob that you farmed for like a year? Why can you buy something that looks better than that? Bullshit.
Yeah.
Don't agree with it.
For me,
something that doesn't look as cool. I mean, I suppose it's going to be part of like your opinion on what looks better. But like some of they've got like more pixels in them, for crying out loud. Like they look so much better.
I think the bigger thing for me is with WoW, like in any other game, it's I don't mind it in like say like Guild Wars or Arcade where it's there, because although I'm never going to buy cosmetics, I don't think I've ever bought cosmetics, but I'm glad that it's there because other people will, and that's going to keep the game afloat. Excellent. Don't put microtransactions in for skins when you're already paying 15 quid a month to play the game. That's just disgusting. That's just ridiculous. It's just so greedy.
Again, if they're not as good as stuff you can get in game, like I'll use WoW as an example because you can't actually buy like skins in WoW, but some of the tier sets in WoW, which is like X amount.
You say
of
that you actually can. You can buy like there's like helmets and stuff you can buy and transmog into.
Yeah, there is helmets, I suppose. But I mean, to be fair, a lot of the in-game items look a lot better anyway. They really do. Like some of the. I mean, to be fair, it is a 15-year-old game. They had 15 years to come up with good stuff. Like it's inevitable. But like for example, in Arcade, like you don't see anyone that doesn't have a skin. They will have some form of skin.
Yeah.
Like, you don't see people walk around and like you don't notice anyone's weapon. You don't know like, but you can't look at a weapon and be like, bam, that's Thunder Fury. Like, bam, that's Bone Reaver's Edge. Like, you like it's so recognizable in like a lot of MMOs where it's like you've worked for that weapon. In like
I think
other games,
Arcade does it in a different way.
Transmog.
I think Arcade does it in a way where it's like, oh, this guy's got the Eternal buff. This guy's he will
you just see the buff. Yeah.
Like, they can't really do it as much in Arcade purely because it's tiers of gear, and it's all very similar gear looking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I still think they should have some form of way to like show like look at like you can look at someone and be like, right, this guy has done stuff.
Yeah,
like, that's the best part of an MMO for me. Is like is when people know you in Arcade. Obviously, it's like through the PvP and stuff. Like you'll get noticed through like what you do in game. So it's like you've got like a rep for it.
Yeah.
But in a lot, I mean, which I do like. To be fair, it's a bit different. So I'm kind of torn between it.
I don't think I hear from Konami.
I don't know actually, but we did get. Well, I mean, we were talking about PES, and then we were talking about FIFA and Ultimate Team and the microtransactions. There we go.
We've kind of half covered the next news item now.
Yeah, so
actually,
we could talk about, speaking of subscription models, Ubisoft
this is so funny.
Brought out Trackmania with a paid subscription model, a yearly subscription model, which they then denied was a subscription. They were like, well, no, it's not a subscription because you're not paying for it monthly, guys. You're only paying, I think it was $15 a year. And it's just like buying the game again, which actually makes it sound worse in a way.
They were like, I think it was like $30 for 1 year or $60 for 3. They're like, just keep buying it. Like, you're just buying it.
Be playing the game in 3 years anyway.
And then you buy it again. It's not a subscription. I think the logic that they're using there is it's not a subscription because it's not going to take your card details and automatically bill you again. That's the technicality, but it's still a subscription.
They're just trying to, package it differently. They just want to be like,
it's a surprise subscription.
every year, like, oh, I've lost $15. What happened? There's the surprise. You forget about it in 3 years' time, and it's like, oh, where'd $30 go? Oh, Trackmania? I haven't played that in 3 years.
And the servers have probably been shut for 2 years as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how long Trackmania will last, but I think there's definitely a lot of people. Has anyone played Trackmania here, or any of the other Trackmania games?
I'm pretty sure we've played it together, haven't we? I think
we might have played like an old one together at one point.
We played the original because the thing is because this is the third main Trackmania game. I think the second one they just buggered up because they split the fan base by having each game like totally separate. There was like a bunch of games under the Trackmania 2 banner, and they were all completely separate, so it just split the fan base. I think it's gotten to the point now where the hardcore fans only care about the original game, and I don't think anything is going to move them at this point. So it'll probably die pretty quickly, especially with the subscription model. They've killed it even before it's out the gate. It's one of those series where they hit it out the park with the original one, and then ever since then they just keep making stupid mistakes like this, and they're just killing the series.
Like Destiny.
Yeah.
It just
sounds like Destiny.
It's one of those situations where I don't know what Ubisoft are doing. Like, I think they just think it's like a throwaway IP at this point, where they can just sort of milk it for a bit of money, throw it out every now and then, because it's not a huge IP. Like, you say Trackmania, and like, I feel like most people won't know what you're talking about.
Pretty obscure.
You could just assume it's a car game of some kind. But yeah, But what were you gonna say about Destiny? I feel like you were gonna go more in there on that.
No, I was just gonna say because he was mentioned like it was like the first one that came out was like the peak of it. Like after that they were like, okay, now let's just do this, and this, and he just fucking killed it, which is literally what happened to Destiny, which pissed a lot of people off, including myself. To be fair, I didn't actually play Destiny 1, but I was excited to play Destiny 2 because of Destiny 1. And
we enjoyed it for what we did play.
Yeah, but then when you look back at it and consider the fact that
the content ran out very quickly.
We completed the entire campaign in 2.5 hours and didn't die once. That was and then we had like the best gear after like 3 hours, and it was like, well, now what?
Yeah, I think people have said it got pretty good with the expansions and after a lot of updates, but on launch it was definitely not. It was not enjoyable. Like it was an enjoyable playthrough, but then you were like, well, now what?
Yeah, I mean, I got some of the expansions. I did actually play some of them. I had 2 of the 3 at the time, including the latest one at that time, and it was just kind of the same thing. It's not. I think the difficulty just needs tuning up like a lot. I think that would make the game a lot more enjoyable. It doesn't need to be more grindy because the quests are grindy enough. You don't need to buff that kind of thing. It's like you need to make things be a little bit more deadly.
Yeah, I don't think it was like. I mean, they're doing expand. I feel like they're actually adding content there. Ubisoft are more so they're just milking an IP and trying to rebrand it and be like, hey, it's not a subscription, guys. Give us more money. I don't know, Ubisoft. I'd be surprised if there's much difference between this Trackmania game and previous titles, other than like a graphical overhaul and stuff. I know they've got like a map editor in there and stuff, but I believe that's locked behind the paid subscription.
See, that's ridiculous because the whole point of Trackmania is the track creator. It's one of those games where it's built on the fan content, isn't it? No one's buying Trackmania to play the full preset levels made by Ubisoft. That's just not the point of the game at all.
So you have to pick up the game and then you've got to pay their like either $30 for 3 years or $15 yearly subscription, and no one's playing it in 3 years. Let's be honest. I don't know. That seems like they're just trying to take more money off people.
You can still play the first one for free. Like the first one, the base game is free, and you just pay extra to get the other like themes because there's different level themes, and the different themes some of them have different mechanics that you can add in with the track editor. So there are different tracks for each different theme, but most of them are just under the bog standard one. And you can play that for free still. So
yeah,
they're just pushing people to play the original game more. I think that's why it's going to be really hard to ever move that hardcore fan base off the first game.
Yeah, it's what like publishers are all doing this nowadays. They all want to move over to live services,
Games as a service.
Yeah.
Gas.
It's I mean, I feel like most of the top games now are, or at least the ones that are played the most are live services in some form. Which I mean, I don't know why it just couldn't come out as like, just put it as a normal release, maybe do a DLC pack at some point if you really want to make a little more extra off it, but just put it out as a full game, I feel like it would have sold better, just, I don't know what the original price for Trackmania is, but I don't think it's a full $60 title, is it? I don't believe it is.
What do you mean? Like
Trackmania?
As in the original Trackmania, you mean?
I think you actually... Is this actually free to play, though? I'm sure you pick up a copy, don't you?
You mean the new one that's coming out, or the original one?
The one we're talking about right now. The Trackmania.
It says it's $30 for 1 year.
I believe you've got to... I think you've got to pick up the game before the subscription model,
I mean, the article you sent doesn't mention anything about that.
I could double check that, but I feel like even if just like forget the subscription model, just bring it out,
Oh, it says players will be able to access certain features for free or pay $9.99 for 1 year of standard access. But then there's club access, which costs $30
and that's what's
for
got
1
the
year.
Editor.
So there's tiers of subscription. So I imagine for free you can probably play like 1 track a week, something stupid like that.
It's
weird.
I don't know why. Like, they've got to make everything a live service, and it's really irritating. I'd just like to see, just put out a full game. Leave it be. If you want to make more money off it down the line, make some DLC for it. Just even if it's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think, like a few new tracks and then some new track editing stuff that you could use. I don't know. There's so much more they could do with it, and I feel like it's just gonna put a lot of people off, especially with them lying about it being a subscription.
They're not helping themselves. I've been saying this for a while now, and as mad as this sounds, I think Nintendo actually have this right, and Nintendo hardly ever have anything right because they're such a backwards company. But in this one situation, This is the thing, though. It's weirdly worked in their favor. The fact that they're such a backwards company has made them more pro-consumer in this one aspect, because everyone else is going to this games as a service thing where they're just trying to get as much money out of you as possible. Nintendo, it's like, all right, their games are expensive. They're like £60 and they never go down in value ever. And GameCube
Ever.
games are still like they're so expensive, yeah, but you get the full game. You like all the extra stuff can be unlocked. It's none of it's paid for. There's never any
Yeah.
microtransactions, and loads of them get free updates for years down the line as well.
Yeah.
Because you've already paid for all those free updates by paying a little bit extra upfront for the game.
That's
So
the
I'm
only
totally
thing
fine
that
with
they do
that.
right.
To be fair, it's probably because they've never ever really done online stuff very right anyway. They're always
thing
terrible
is-
when it comes to that.
No, but they
online,
do.
the way they do online is dog shit to this day. It's horrendous, and it just like you've got to download
it
apps
is.
on your phone to invite people. You can't invite anyone from your friends list to certain games, like Splatoon, for example, which came out early on in its lifetime. Oh my god, their online system was horrendous.
Mm.
But Nintendo do one thing right, and that is like the actual game.
Yeah,
Developments is just phenomenal. It's
they know how to
it's
make a
unbelievable
video
what they
game.
do. Oh yeah, without question.
You gonna follow it up, Tef?
No,
You
not
ran the
really.
fourth, I think, okay.
I made my point. I'd rather
Okay.
I'd rather pay a little bit more upfront and have the whole game,
Yeah.
rather than pay less at the start and then have them nickel and dime me for the next 10 years, because I'll end up paying more in the long run anyway.
I think we can all agree on that.
Mm,
No? Hold on. Would you like to play
I like
devil's advocate, Zolt?
I do like DLCs to an extent. I really do. And
Oh no,
I mean,
DLCs are fine. I'm talking about
Yeah.
microtransactions and skins here.
no, okay, no, I'm not. I don't like cash shops. I just don't like cash shops.
Or-
That's all. To be fair,
Yeah.
I understand why they're there because there's obviously a purpose, especially if it's a buy-to-play game. Like they're gonna run out of money keeping the servers up eventually. Do you know what I mean? But to an extent, just to an extent, I don't like cash shops. If it enhances your gameplay in any way, shape, or form, and I mean even inventory space by one slot, it shouldn't be in the fucking cash shop at all. Get it out. Get it gone.
I hate bag expansions in MMOs. If you have to pay real money for that, I hate it so much.
Well, that's the thing that you can do in well, I don't know whether it's in Unchained.
No,
but
it's
you
not.
Can, it's not. So in Legacy, you could buy bag expansions. It's direct with cash. You buy in-game currency with cash. And you use in-game currency to it's not in-game currency in terms of like your character's currency. It's like the shop currency. You
Credits.
then buy that, credits which enhances your player's currency. So you're indirectly buying it with cash, like straight up, and it just drives me mad. I use arcades as an example because that's where I'm most educated. I wouldn't
Yeah.
know when it comes to other MMOs or cash shops, really.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I don't mind live services when I feel like some companies do it right. There are some people that do it. I feel like Fortnite does it right. Like I don't like Fortnite
Oh, yeah.
personally, but they
Yeah,
do
no.
the way they do it is right. It's got the
Yeah.
whole
Yep.
battle pass.
100% agree.
They have value in there when they put out new updates, and they frequently put out free updates as well. Very often they have like the
They
whole
have
they have
done for-
chapters and stuff
yeah.
in different seasons. They do stuff like
Honestly,
that.
Epic have done insane. You can't hate on Fortnite at the end of the day. You really can't. It's done so
People do,
much for
they do.
esports.
Well,
as
you can because it's popular, okay? And popular things are bad. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
this.
oh
so-
yeah, forgot about that. It's just
I mean,
I mean, especially with the battle pass thing. I don't recall a game before Fortnite having a battle pass. Do you guys recall any?
No, that was the one. That was what popularized it. Definitely. I don't know if there was something before that.
Yeah, I can't think.
I can't think of any. I really can't. I mean, I mean, in-game check marks like little like Battlefield, for example. You do this, you get this. You play this amount of games with this, you unlock this. But straight up like battle pass, I think it's a great idea. It gives people a sense of false achievement, and it then just sort of gives the game longevity and replayability because people want to unlock things to look cooler. And as I said, it's not. I say false sense of accomplishment. It's not really, I suppose, but you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Epic's not done everything completely right like they do. But I feel, for Fortnite specifically, I think they've done everything pretty well. Like, they have, like, their... I don't know, it's just the fact that they put out updates so frequently, and they're all quite high quality, from what I've seen.
Yeah. I like how they interact with people as well. I'm pretty sure they have like some way where you can vote for certain weapons and game modes and stuff to come back.
I didn't know.
I haven't
about
looked
that.
into it too. I haven't looked into it too much, but I understand the
I'm really
vaulting
looking
system is
for
like
that.
something gets like vaulted, so they'll take out like the pump action shotgun was taken out at one point, which caused uproar because everybody loves that weapon. But that was vaulted at one point, which means it was not in the game for like X amount of weeks or
Hmm.
whatever, because something else replaced it. And then like they swap things around, which I mean that can be somewhat kind of like more content for people because like I'm pretty sure they had like done the same with different game modes as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
I
the
mean,
50 versus 50 game mode in Fortnite. I've
I,
always
I
enjoyed
remember
that.
you being very into
That
that
was
at one
fun.
point.
It's really fun. It's so fun. It's just a big TDM. You start the game as a battle royale. You then meet up with everyone, and it's 50 versus 50. Just team deathmatch. Keep your weapons when you die. Just pick up ammo and materials.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like outside. Listen, I went into Fortnite. I was like, I want that John Wick skin. I want to play as Keanu Reeves, and that
Oh
was
yeah,
it. That's
you
all I
got that,
needed.
didn't you?
That's the only thing I paid for in Fortnite. I was like, I'll get the battle pass just so I can get that John Wick skin. That was it. And then I just stopped.
Yeah.
I pretty much stopped playing after that. I was like, all right, I got what I want. I'm good.
Yeah, you played a ton at that time, didn't you?
Yeah,
It's mad as well. For someone who's into shooters, I never won a game of Fortnite ever.
no, you didn't. I
After
remember
that. I
every
didn't
time
play
we
it for
played,
too
like,
long. I played it for a few
we're
months
gonna.
now.
I was like, all right, we're gonna get Zolt a win this time whenever we play.
I just never got one. I mean, I won the 50 v 50 loads of times, but that's obviously
Yeah,
you're quite literally got a 50%. It's just a face roll, to be fair. It's just a big TDM. But yeah, I never won squad solos or duos with it. I won. Oh no, I did. I won squads online. I've won one game of squads, but I've not won solo or duo where it really matters. Squads,
Yeah.
you can just get carried by people.
I think that was just around the time where I was super into battle royales. Like, I really enjoyed PUBG. I remember PUBG was so good when we were first
PUBG.
playing it.
We had so much fun playing that game. We've
Yeah.
done. There's nothing we never done in that game. Nothing.
I'm really
And same
sad I
with
missed the boat on
H1Z1.
that game.
Yeah, it was
To
a
be
lot
fair,
of
it's
fun.
still popular.
It's just
We
not
could
the
still
same,
play
though,
it at
is
some
it?
points.
It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
It'll never
I
be the
fell
same.
off it when they changed the movement. When they changed the movement, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with this game.
You don't like the vaulting. You miss being able to like crouch jump out windows and
Glitch
stuff.
through walls.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was a skill. And then
Yeah.
like and the actual turn like the turn based movements and like it takes longer to turn now than it used to. It's like it's slowed down a lot more, but the
It's a
actual
lot more sluggish.
movement. Yeah, and I don't like it. It's really sluggish, really badly.
Yeah. So that was Trackmania, I guess.
Yeah, Call of Duty's one now.
But shall we move on to the Paradox Union? Should we talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I've only got one thing to say about this, and
Very good. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. What else can you say? They've unionized. Good on them.
we can talk about, like, I don't know, just the way it works in general for a lot of people working in, like, a lot of devs. This is going to be a good thing because hopefully that'll get rid of crunch time. Hopefully, they'll get better pay. A lot of devs are like underpaid. They're forced to do crunch time. Well, not forced. They're highly encouraged to do it. It's like, well, we really need you here
it's
for
peer
this.
pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're not going to say that we'll fire you if you don't crunch, but
Yeah. And you certainly won't get a promotion if you don't crunch.
yeah, it's like I don't know. It's become a standard in the game industry, especially as well, and it's quite toxic for and poisonous to a lot of companies because a lot of devs like burn out during crunch time and stuff like this, and I think it's just a case of poor management when it comes down to crunch time. It just means you haven't managed the game very
honestly. I don't understand how crunch is expected and how it's become just the right way to make games. Like, it's just bizarre. In any other industry, surely that would be seen as dreadful management. Like, who are these project leads who are because at this point they must be planning it. They must be planning ahead to have a crunch period. It's so insane.
I think it could definitely have something to do with publishers wanting to push these games out a lot sooner than the devs are ready for, and it's like, well, guys, we got to crunch. The publisher's giving us no chance to get this out, so we got to take some time to crunch on it, and it has become expected, and I think this is something a lot of people don't talk about because a lot of like just normal gamers don't really care about this stuff. It's kind of stuff that happens behind the scenes.
I don't think they don't get told. That's the thing. They don't know, and that's it's just not informed.
But then you
sure
also
they
get
have
people who
more
don't
say
think
if they
about
knew.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I think there was like
problem
we're probably
is-
the minority in there. I think.
Yeah, you got to be a big nerd. I think. I think the biggest problem though is it doesn't matter how long it's been proven previously that it doesn't matter how long the game's in development for. There's still going to be a crunch period, so you can't just say let them develop the games for a bit longer because it's just built into the way these projects are made now.
Yeah.
Like Cyberpunk is going through a crunch period right now, and how does that game need a crunch? How? It's been like 9 years.
It was supposed to be already out, but they pushed it back because of everything going on. Which, I mean, everything going on right now might, it could, justify crunch for certain games. But Cyberpunk, they've been working on that for a long time. I think it comes down to they're always like, oh, well, we could do more finishing touches on this before we, send this out. And I don't know, I feel like they have this idea that they need to crunch and do a little bit more extra. And it's in the minds of these project leads, and the devs are just like, well, I mean, I gotta do it. Sorry, honey, I won't be home for the next 2 weeks. I'll be sitting at my desk. Yeah. It's stuff like that that's kind of just, I don't know. I don't think it's hard to say what even consumers could do about it, except, I guess, rant about it on Twitter or podcasts. I feel like it's all you can really do, honestly, because they just don't like the PR. Like, if there's bad PR, then, that's the only thing that kind of affects them. But it's a hard thing to tackle.
I do think the attitude on crunch is changing, and this proves it, actually, that it is changing, because it is getting more and more bad press, and you've got so many people in... Yeah, but I feel like in like this pro gamergate world now, there's so many journalists out there in the gaming industry who are trying to improve just the general industry, and there's people like Jason. I'm probably going to mispronounce his name now. There's Jason Schreier. Yeah,
I think it's Schreier.
Like he's all the articles he puts out it's calling out companies for doing stuff like this, and it's good that we've got that. And the attitudes are changing, and slowly but surely we're getting there. And this proves it. Actually, the fact that Paradox are doing it, and Paradox are famously scummy and greedy.
I mean, I don't know. It's just really cool to see more
Cities, Skylines.
It's just really cool to see more union. Yeah, you're like, yeah, I know that, but I don't know. Have you got any opinion on Zolt? Because I feel like obviously we're more invested in the industry in general.
Yeah, you are. I stay away from that kind of stuff, partially because I'm lazy and don't really look into it too much. I am really excited about the next topic. If you get into that, though, I'll be honest, I want to hear about that.
Oh, I mean, yeah, the next topic's going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah, next one's
I've
pretty
just had
grim.
a quick scan over it because I've no idea. I do not know. I'll be truthfully honest. I have no idea. I haven't really got an opinion based on that.
But yeah, I mean, this is... Hey, I mean, I don't know. The game industry is still like... Compared to other industries, it's still like relatively young in that sense. Yeah.
The next article's written by Jason Schreier, funnily
enough.
Yeah,
it is actually.
There you go, proven.
Yeah, is he freelance now, or is he actually just... Because he's writing for Bloomberg there, isn't he?
It's poaching, isn't he?
I'm going to follow him on Twitter. I think
I do as well.
He was freelance for a little while, but he put a tweet out like a couple of days ago saying that he works for someone now, but I can't remember who he said.
Well, I mean, he's writing on Bloomberg, so that was very recent. I mean, hey, it's rather prestigious place to move from, because he was Kotaku, wasn't he? Head of Kotaku.
Kotaku,
yeah. So I mean, it's a good leap. But yeah, shall we move on to that topic then?
It is Bloomberg he works for now.
Shall we move on to the next topic, which is this one's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, boy.
So the next topic is on Take-Two cancelling a contract with Star Ferry Games, which were the people who did Kerbal Space Program, and now they've shut down as a business. And Take-Two, in all their wisdom, after cancelling it, decided, you know what, let's now try and pull these devs on to our team. Let's poach a few of them. And yeah, it's kind of interesting if, like, reading over this, like the way this has all went down. What do you think on it, Tef? Results apparently left.
Yeah, sorry, he's been dropping messages, but you don't get them. He's going back in a second. He's just got to quickly run off. It's fine. We'll vamp for him.
Yeah.
He's had this time anyway. Talk about esports. It's time for us to talk about the gaming industry.
We're talking industry. Yeah.
I think this is just the most utterly diabolical thing in the world. But at the same time, it's hilarious. It's actually so evil that it's kind of hilarious. It's like Power Rangers level of evil. It's just ridiculous.
Did someone say esports?
No, don't worry about it.
Back in your page.
Calm down.
It is just so comically evil, really. The fact that they're just contacting them immediately after shutting them down. Like, hey, do you want to come work for our new studio, which is we're going to pay you?
Well, there was a 3-month period where they were still running.
True,
but they were the only source of revenue that Star Ferry had, which they've then decided, okay, well, they obviously know this, and then they've just decided, we'll cancel that contract, whatever, they were, dealing with money-wise that time, and now they're like, hey, well, why don't you come join us? Well, you can make that thing for us anyway, but we'll, for a lower cost. I feel like that's what it is. Yeah. They've been like, hey, let's just have them disband, and then we'll pull them all back in, then we'll bring them under our branch.
I think it's a really heavy-handed way of it. I mean, we don't even know if they're getting paid the same amount, do we? But I
feel like it's going to be less, obviously.
It probably will be. But I think another big part of it, though, is that I think they're trying. It's a really heavy-handed way to cut out middle management, because the people who really lose out here aren't the developers. They're getting poached. They're getting another job. It's going to be the people who are running that studio, running Star Theory games. They're out of a job now.
They just screwed them over.
Yeah, they're the ones who've really lost out here.
Constantly now.
I mean, you don't see stuff as blatant as this.
Maybe not as blatant, but it's people are just getting cut left, right, and centre for absolutely. I mean, remember Blizzard? That thing that was just ridiculous.
Which Blizzard thing?
Remember when they got rid of all their employees, a crap ton of the most important devs for World of Warcraft and stuff.
Oh, they did drop a lot of people. I think there was a lot of community managers were dropped and stuff.
I think it has something to do with the Activision as well. To be fair, I'm pretty sure they had a big say in what happened.
We were actually talking about this recently. How a lot of you don't realize it, but a lot of devs just dissolve, and you just don't even notice. We were talking about what we were talking about last time, Tef. You mentioned a few.
Yeah, we did have.
It was your topic.
We did have a conversation about this, didn't we? Yeah. It was Maxis, and I found out Maxis are technically still open, but they're in a completely different place now. The name is still going, but it's not the same company. But yeah, we had that conversation about how publishers just close studios and merge studios constantly to the point where no studio really has an identity anymore. And now they don't even have their own names half the time. They're just Ubisoft Studios Seattle or something like that. It's all getting, funnily enough, it's getting a bit Final Fantasy 7. It's like a Sector 7 sort of thing, or Welcome to City 17. No one's got an identity anymore. But part of that is you are expected to just move constantly as a developer, otherwise you might be out of a job.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to wonder how much company politics is in between all this of them dissolving them.
Yeah, true.
And how often does it actually happen? But it's not as obviously it's not as, obvious to everyone what they're doing. How often do we see stuff like this within the industry?
That's the thing, isn't it? Because if Jason Schreier's not writing an article on it, we're not going to know about it. We only know about this because he's written about it. There's going to be countless similar situations that we just don't know about because he's the only person who cares about this sort of thing. So, he's the one guy out there who's really pushing all this stuff. And it does make...
Yeah, that's why I follow him on Twitter, because he is one of the journalists. He goes at it. He actually hits the hard stuff.
Yeah, he's a really, really good journalist.
Yeah, and I do want to see more. I want to see more people like that. I think games journalism in general has gotten to a point where I think it's getting better. Honestly, there's a lot of good going on.
Oh, it's a lot better
because there's a lot of places you can now go to get the information you need. Because there's even just individuals on YouTube now. You can just go find someone you like, and it's okay, I like this person. I can watch their content. But it's... Go on, what are you saying, Tef?
I was just going to say, you know, sometimes you might stumble across someone who talks about your favourite MMO, and then you decide to check out his Twitch channel, and he's there ranting live about the game industry. Everybody's at it these days.
Yeah,
plenty of people that you can... Go on,
yeah.
go on.
I don't know, I
didn't know I was your favourite YouTuber, Seth.
Oh, okay.
You've got a YouTube channel?
I said I didn't know you were my favourite, so I was your favourite YouTuber.
Oh no, I heard what you said, I just didn't know you had a YouTube channel.
Oh, right, okay. Neither did I, apparently. It's been abandoned, left in the dust for now.
So you gotta get back on that at some point. You need something to plug at the end of this podcast, so
I need a desk, that's what I need.
I'm on a glass dining table right now, mate. Don't talk to me about lack of desks. My mouse pad is a book. It's just this, like, dope pad.
That is about double the space that I have for my mouse.
It's Tef, if you need a mouse pad, I can hit you up. I got one prepped for you.
I'll take it. I will use it, you know I will.
I know
slap
you would.
that ass any time of the day.
Yeah. I'll just hang it up on a wall, in a frame.
I could put it on the wall behind me and then rest my head.
Right,
oh, you should,
nice
yeah.
pillow.
Yeah, it'd be comfy, that's it.
Is the Pepe pillows that are like that? I'm gonna Google this.
No, don't do that.
There's
Actually, I
definitely
wanna do
a
that.
Pepe body pillow of some kind.
Pepe body pillow. Incognito mode, of course. Oh. They just look like shit posts. I mean, oh no. That ain't good. That ain't good. I regret this.
But yeah,
Hello?
sorry. Yeah, I was just
Is that
I don't know.
you're just
I'm looking
stunned
at
into
this article,
silence?
yeah, I'm looking at the article more. It's have you seen this the Pepe stuff? Are you looking at this right now, or is it just me? I wish I could send it over to you. I'm looking at Pepe body pillow.
I need it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Twitch chat can send you one. Trust me, they can send you one. They've hit me up with. They've hit me up with the Pepe mouse pad.
Do you actually use that mouse pad or not?
Yeah, it's right here, guys. You can't see it. I can't tilt the camera down, but it is there. I'm sure.
Definitely there.
Me too.
But yeah, have we got any more to say on, I don't know, the Take-Two thing, apart from being, you know, pure evil?
Shinra Corp levels of evil. How many Final Fantasy VII references can I make today?
You could make a lot. I mean, speaking of evil as well, there is one other topic that I didn't really throw in the news, but there's a lot of people, I think it was a lot of people at Activision were talking about how they believe Bobby Kotick makes too much money. And there's a big talk on that.
Probably, yeah.
He definitely does.
That's fair. Activision are probably the greediest out of all the companies, not saying something.
I hate them with a burning passion, I'll be honest.
I mean,
I haven't
Bobby
played an
Kotick is
Activision
literally
game
a
since
devil.
Black Ops 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's Blizzard Activision now, so
Yeah,
you know, they
course,
are the same.
It makes me sad. It really does.
It is.
I feel like they've had
rather
such an
upsetting.
impact. Again, it's biased because I'm just playing WoW all the time. But oh my god, like I'd love to imagine. Well, I'd love to see where the game would have went if it was just Blizzard and not Activision involved.
Yeah,
They
I
were a
mean,
much better company back in the day.
it's got to a point where it's a big business now, and it's all about
Money.
shareholders getting that dollar. You know.
More than $1 billion.
Yeah.
One more news item before we move on from this. Kind of news, kind of a slight plug. But Sony have announced today that they've announced like the new dates for the PlayStation 5 conference. It's going to be on the 11th of June,
Oh yeah.
which is this Thursday.
Wow.
So I think me and Zam are going to go ahead with our original plan of kind of commentating over it via Twitch. I mean, if
Yeah,
we were allowed
so
to do
that'll
that,
be Thursday. I'm pretty sure you can, but there is the whole situation with the MCA takedowns going on Twitch right now.
I can delete
Yes.
the VOD. It's fine.
I'll never know. So yeah, that is 9 p.m. British time and 1 p.m. Pacific time if you're a Yankee Doodle donkey on Thursday.
What?
But yeah, so
Oh yeah, you don't have the chat open. You've not seen
you
the
don't, yeah.
the beef.
No, mate, I'm ignoring chat today. I'll be honest. Who's in chat? I'm gonna
best.
take a look.
It is. I mean, we don't react to chat within the podcast usually anyway. Typically, we do I mean, during breaks maybe, but it's like mostly talking. But yeah, it's 8 p.m. GMT. We're gonna try and, I don't know, restream the broadcast and we'll do a little bit of commentary over it, be very snarky, make some very cynical comments. I don't know. It'll be fun.
You know us. Do the same as what we're doing right now.
Yeah. I don't know.
And if it's anywhere near as iconic, because I just hope. Am I shrinking as well? I think my
I
think my
keep doing
camera's
it,
just
don't worry
falling
about it.
back. I think my camera's falling back. It's not me like sliding down. But yeah, and I just hope that they're as funny as the PS4 and Xbox One announcements. Because my
Oh,
God,
God, no.
they were
Oh,
great
God,
to
no.
riff on.
The Xbox One, that guy couldn't speak.
Don Matrick, what a legend! What a guy!
He just cut out with everything he said. He was just like, I was. It was so cringy to watch.
You okay?
Yeah, it was just grim.
But yeah,
I thought it was great fun.
I mean, it will be a lot of fun. I mean, we won't be seeing any influences in the event in any form during this one.
Weird.
Yeah, that word. And they love bringing influencers on, you know, get some big influencers on to talk about the game or play the game or host. It always goes down
Get
wrong.
Pewds on there.
Watch the doc just come out. Watch.
Oh no, I'm switching it off if the doc comes out.
Be someone like
the doc's the man.
It'll be someone like I mean, if they were to get people, I don't know, who did they get? I remember them getting an influencer last time who just, he wasn't very good at hosting, and he just seemed like very nervous and like completely out of it. I don't remember what event that was. I don't know. Just don't do influencers, okay?
No, don't do influencers.
If you want to have like the side booth thing where it's like, hey, we have a bunch of streamers over here streaming, you know, a demo version of the game for like when you wrap your part of the show, feel free to have a little segment, you know, introducing that. But don't have them host. Don't have them up front. Most of them can't.
Listen, no one will do a better job. No one will do a better job of talking in front of a crowd regarding a game or a console than Keanu Reeves. That man has peaked. Peak performance.
I mean, it's true. Who knows? We might see Keanu Reeves, you know, in an event at some point again. Because, hey, he'll be
in another one.
I mean, you say that, but also Cyberpunk's gonna be out by the end of this year, and we're definitely not gonna have any live events this year. Maybe he streams in. He'll video call.
He'll play it from his bedroom.
It'd be cool to see, but I also know he doesn't really have like any sort of online presence, does he? If I recall.
Just an introvert.
Much like me, except I
all of us.
broadcast the internet. Yeah. I feel like I'm the most, considering I, you know, don't even know what time of day it is most of the time, since the curtains never open and they're black.
Yeah.
They keep out all the lights.
Bastard.
Careful what you're saying.
All right, so I've just realized what you did there. Took me a second. But yeah, we're about at the 2-hour mark now. If we want to start to wrap on up, I feel like we were wrapping up anyway. We were getting towards the end. But yeah,
there's so much esports you can
I'm
talk
gonna go on
about.
my jog now.
I mean, we could talk more about esports. I'm sure we could. But yeah, so
no, I want to play Final Fantasy.
We could.
So Tef, where can they find you? What have you got? Something you might want to plug by chance?
Oh, I do. Probably not that you Zoomers would be interested in. Well, as always, I've got a Twitter now. Because I'm cooling down with the kids, I'll whack that in the chat. It's just Teffers, because someone stole Tefrin from me, and I'm still bitter. I mean, if you go on there, you'll see. Just recently, actually, I linked to it. My boy Zan's liked it because he's a legend. But I actually, occasionally, I actually put the rambles that I make down on paper, and I put a Medium article up about Shadow of the Colossus. I wrote it. I think I wrote it the day after we finished Eco. And it was while we were in the Hangouts. Actually, I was actually writing it while we were doing the Hangouts. So I'm amazed how well it's come together, considering it was like 3 a.m. But yeah, I've wrote an article about Shadow of the Colossus and just immersive, meditative spaces in games, because I think they're really cool. So go and have a look at that if you want to. Or,
If you want,
or
I
don't,
can
fuck
stick
you.
I can stick that in the announcements after the podcast, so everyone can go take a little peek at it.
Go
Have a read
for
through.
it.
But yeah, how about yourself, Zolt? Where can the people find you? Do you exist on the internet anymore?
The only thing that you'll see me on.
It's classic WoW.
Yeah, the only thing you'll actually see me on is Twitter at the moment. I just don't do anything ever anywhere at the moment. On Twitter, you'll probably just see me trying to figure out who's gonna be on what esports team. I recently made one, and I've only just double checked who I put now, and 2 of the 5 people that I suggested to be on the same team, well, not suggested, but thought to be on the same team, are actually on the same team. I'm hyped about that. But you'll either see me complaining, sharing stupid shit, complaining, or something to do with esports. That's about it.
Complaining.
I mean, if you want to see some complaining, let me direct you to my Twitter and my YouTube. But yeah, if you don't know who I am, which I assume most people here do, but if you don't,
He's the host. That's all he
I'm
is. Right?
Zanrise on
streaming,
Twitch, Zanrise on YouTube, The Real Zanrise on Instagram, ZanGames on Twitter, and that is it. So feel free to check me out on all those platforms. I do all the stuff. I don't know. I don't even like. I get free time of it every now and then. I don't know what I do with it. I'm just making videos. I've got a lot more videos on the way on YouTube regarding Arcade. If you're very into Arcade, my YouTube's the place for you. But yeah, that is a wrap, and that is the end of the show. Thank you for joining me, you two. It's good to have Zolt here for a week.
Babe.
No problemo, for once,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, thank you for watching, everyone, and the next podcast will be next Monday. Next Thursday is going to be the next stream, and that will be hopefully me and Tef streaming the PlayStation events, doing some snarky commentary over it. And if that ends, I don't know how long it's going to be, but if it ends early, maybe I'll do something else afterwards, but we'll see.
I think it's only about an hour. They always said it was going to be about just over an hour. So
yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Au revoir.
Bonsoir.